And it has been a while. We get busy a lot of times with all the things going on. So I kind of put this on the back burner. Lately, last time we took it out, the engine mounts broke on it. I replaced them with some used ones, but they didn't last very long. So today, I had to figure out how was I going to change these engine mounts without physically taking the exhaust pipe off, taking the carburetor off, all the linkage. I just thought that was way too much work. So I came up with an idea. This is more like a shade tree idea. Get it? Shade tree. I put the winch up here, come along. I put a strap around the engine so I made it so it wouldn't shift on me while I was pulling it out. And the trick with these is when you're pulling them out, you have to actually lift up and slide forward so you can get the engine to come off the spline of the shaft. You just got to be easy. It will come off. And I was able to actually get in the front, which was really hard to get with all the pipe and everything, by just swiveling the engine and moving it back like that, and you can get to the engine mounts in the front here. I've already got those two. Really difficult without having this system set up. We're going to go to the back. If you wanted to know what the engine mounts looked like close up, I got these on the internet. They're a Titan brand on eBay. And that's how they look. They got two bolts in here, and that one bolt goes for where the engine plate is. There's one thing you got to be really careful about. Each one of these motor mounts, if the engine was aligned, has spacers under it. Those are the alignment shims. You don't want to go take all four of these out at one time. You want to go to each one, and remove the shims, and then when you put your mount back in, you want to put the same amount of shims that you took out there. That's very important to keep the shaft aligned in the back. We're going to try to do the back one now on this, and hopefully we get this in while we're up top here. Well, here's a typical example of the shims. These are all the shims that were under the mount. So the first thing I do is I put those to the side and I don't mix them up. I put the bolts in this first because the shims have a looping section where you can just loop it down and then tighten it up. So we'll see if we can get this one in here. Not much to see down here but two bolts, but you can see I've got it spaced up enough because these bolts are rather long to get in here. And the only thing I actually disconnected was the exhaust hose over here and the upper water hose so far. I'm just screwing these in as much as I can by hand. I'm going to take those shims and I'm going to slide them under the mount.
If you have a light, will be helpful.
Make sure they're all in. Tighten it up. See, I got all the exhaust is still connected to the engine, the carburetor, everything is still on. I haven't taken any of that off. I just took the air intake cover off. That one's in. go to the last one. This one's hard to see. Got plenty of room under there to do it. And I do have some 2x4s underneath the center of the engine just in case something should fail here. I won't crush my hand in here, and you want to be real careful of what you're using to lift your engine out. That's up to you. Your own risk on that. There's the little bolt. The other one. Here's the shims. Here's the bolt. Let's take that out for now. Make sure nothing fell in there. And one did, see? That's why you gotta be real careful. Out, put your bolt in the mount. Start that in the hole first. spacers back in. Okay, that's it. Now, a lot of times when that shaft comes out, the rubber bumper on the shaft will come out. Make sure you put that in your drive shaft. That goes in the end of the drive shaft. Also, on some models, they have another shim. This shim actually goes under the plate on top of the engine mount. That's like a last minute adjustment when we align the engine. So that's where that one would go. But always put it down there so you don't forget to install it. Just be real careful that you put back what came out of each engine mount. So right now I'm gonna put her back in, and the rest is just putting the 4 bolts in. While we're putting it in, we're gonna slide the spline shaft in, and that should do it for this time. So next time we come, hopefully we can go riding again. So as always, happy jet skiing.